Hello, BookTube. Today I want to discuss Ursula K. Le Guin's phenomenal novel, The Left Hand of Darkness. My experience with Ursula K. Le Guin has been very positive. Her essays are great, including her essay in The Left Hand of Darkness, at least the edition that I have, where she talks about what a science fiction novel is and what she's trying to do with The Left Hand of Darkness, which is a thought experiment. Which, for me personally, that's one of the draws of science fiction. I love the thought experiments. One of my first exposures to the genre was Philip K. Dick. And if you've read Philip K. Dick, he's thought experiment after thought experiment after thought experiment, right? Trying to answer questions like, what does it mean to be human, right? So, in general, I recommend Ursula K. Le Guin. Her corpus is enormous, and she's enormously talented. The Ursi books, foundational classic fantasy. If you haven't read those, you have to. Have to. I highly suggest that you do. You can get them in like a. I don't have my copy anymore. Damn it! But no, you can get like a nice hardcover, like oversized hardcover of her. All of her Ursi books for. I think on Amazon you can get it for like I don't know, $40, maybe 50. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it. And if you pick up her essay collections, you will not be disappointed. For example, her introduction, this isn't really an essay, but her introduction to Roadside Picnic, which is great, which the book is great. It's great Soviet criticism of the Soviet Union, right? It's great Russian criticism of the Soviet Union through the medium of science fiction. And there's some great commentary that is made there that if you can, read between the lines. As much as I love Roadside Picnic, her introduction steals the show. it it's better. So needless to say, when I went into The Left Hand of Darkness in January, and then I revisited it again in February, because I had to read it again. It was just great. I was primed to like this book. I went into it expecting to like it, which you're probably not supposed to do. You're probably supposed to go in with no expectations. I couldn't help myself. And it did not disappoint. So to set the backdrop, what are we dealing what is the thought experiment? The thought experiment is imagine a planet populated by societies and people where the people are completely gender fluid. That's the thought experiment. How would that work out if somebody else came down who wasn't gender fluid and interacted with them? How would he understand them? And suffice it to say, you quickly pick up that our main character, Genly AI, I believe his name is. I'm bad with names. Is a misogynist. He's just an open misogynist, which you can understand why Ursula K. Le Guin would write him that way. This is published in 1969. And so, undoubtedly, guys like Genly AI were the norm, is my guess. And what you see, and a lot of people complain because they're like, this is kind of a detached nature, blah de blah. Yes, there is a sense of detachment. because he's acting as a kind of anthropologist. He's trying to study these people, and he doesn't really connect with them, and he's trying to grapple with what this means to be gender fluid and et cetera, et cetera. All of this set against the backdrop of Taoist philosophy. Is my understanding is Ursula K. Le Guin was a Taoist, and so the book has Taoist political thought and Taoist themes all throughout. Even the title of the book, The Left Hand of Darkness, you will find out when you read that that is a Taoist. It's basically yin and yang, right? If you know what I mean. It's a nice way of her saying yin and yang. One of the masterful things that she accomplishes beyond world building and beyond exploring gender fluidity is her ability to show how poles are actually the same, how they may be explicitly different but implicitly the same. Because as you read on, you see that Genly AI and his companion, they're not so different after all. They're not really so different after all. They're both very different, but also not very different after all, which is a very Taoist and, I would say, Eastern way of looking at the world. Because a Taoist or a Buddhist would say something like this: you can't have light without dark. You can't have a left side without a right side, an up without a down. And I would say, and this has irritated many of my academic colleagues, I completely brush off the problem of evil. Because I would say you can't have pain, you can't have pleasure without pain. Those are two sides of the same coin. They go together. You can't expect that. So there's no problem because you're asking for an impossibility. Okay. Now that's contentious, but that's why I brush off the problem of evil, much to the chagrin of my colleagues. But hey, annoying colleagues is a simple joy in life, right? Okay. Now I'm going to transition here because I can. To rant a little bit about Jordan Peterson, because this book is important. Because I think a lot of people think that this whole, transgender craze that you get from right-wing grifters is a relatively new thing, right? I mean, you would get that impression if you listen to the likes of Jordan Peterson. Now, I don't know if he would explicitly say that, but you get the distinct impression when you listen to somebody like Jordan Peterson that one day transgenderism just took over and the world's going crazy. You're going to force me to use pronouns? No. We have to understand a couple of things about Jordan Peterson. Because a lot of people were first, again, and I'm referencing him not just because I deeply dislike him, which I do, but also most people, I don't want to say most people, many people's first interactions or first experience with transgenderism was through people like him. And he's a great avatar because this grifter made his career by lying about a Canadian bill, which is Bill C-16, back in 2016, I believe, 15, 16, by lying about it, and saying that it compelled him to use certain pronouns. It didn't. It recognized transgender people as a protected class. That's it. But that was the hill he was going to die on. This was his opportunity to gain fame, was to lie about this bill, have lawyers correct him on that, people who study the law, unlike him, correct him on this. And him threatening hunger strikes. I'm going to go on a hunger strike, which he didn't do. Just like when he was kicked off, when he was suspended from Twitter, he made a huge fuss about it. So you would think from someone like him that transgenderism is a relatively new thing. It isn't. This book shows it, but also, and I'm also going to criticize Jordan Peterson again, because this man claims to be an expert on the Nazis, right? But if he was really an expert on the Nazis, he would understand that one of, if not the first, gender-affirming clinics was in Germany and was destroyed by the Nazis. But then again, I don't think that this man has ever seriously engaged with a book in his life. And I'm not just saying that without evidence. I can provide examples, countless examples. He's talked about Crime and Punishment as a thriller. A thriller. Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, a slow, methodical, meditative novel about the aftermath of a man who kills a woman and what it does to his psyche. A slow-paced book as a thriller. So he has either not read it, or he's read it so badly that you question if he's literate. Another example. This man will comment about Marxism, and I guarantee he knows nothing about Marxism. He knows nothing about it. When he was talking to another grifter, Slavoj Žižek, again, these people are self-evidently grifters, right? Like, I'm using that, but I hope when you watch them, they're selling something, clearly. These are grifters. Now, not everybody that sells something is a grifter, but your bullshit detector should go off when you listen to somebody like Jordan Peterson. Like, just self-evidently, he's a grifter. Back when my students, right, when I first became aware of this guy, my students were male students. This is the other thing I forgot to say. Jordan Peterson, to understand Jordan Peterson, to really understand him, is to understand that he has a bone-deep hatred of women. Now, you don't have to believe me. You can take a look at older videos where he's either interviewed or on a panel with women, and they challenge him, and he gets very mad. Like, how dare this woman talk to me? Doesn't she know her place in the hierarchy? God. Okay, so his audience is men, males, young men. He'll say he has some female or some women that listen to him. Give me a break, come on. The only woman listening to him is his daughter because she can make money off of him. No woman, no self-respecting woman is listening to fucking Jordan Peterson. This is for men. Because it's obvious. This guy hates women. At a deep level, he hates women. And he appeals to incels who also hate women, and they want to transfer all of their insecurities and all of their problems onto women. It's so obvious. I mean, this guy once mused, I don't know why most of my audience is men. This is a guy who questioned whether men and women could work together. You can look at a Vice interview where he's talking to this guy. Can men and women work together? Which the obvious answer is yes. Yes. In feudal times, even, men and women work together. They've been working together thousands of years. Men and women can work together. And he goes on about lipstick being a sexual attractor, which again misunderstands women. Because when he said that women put on lipstick as a sexual signifier, I did something that Jordan Peterson doesn't do, and that his fans don't do, which is I went and I talked to women and I asked them why they put makeup on, like lipstick. And they do it for one of two reasons: either to impress other women or to make themselves feel better about themselves, right? Just kind of like how men wear certain suits or whatever. I don't know. It's not for us, right? It's not for us. Now, Jordan Peterson may have some pseudo evil psych bullshit answer, but that's pseudoscience. Okay, I feel like I've lost the thread here. Needless to say, not the biggest fan of Jordan Peterson, and we can all, I think, laugh at him now that he's washed, right? That he is completely washed, and even to the point where if you had any doubts in your mind that he was a grifter, those are put to bed when he quit the University of Toronto. He had this op-ed or whatever in The Guardian about complaining about how his straight white male graduate students wouldn't be able to find jobs because of wokeness or some slogan, right? Some thought-terminating cliche. He loves thought-terminating cliches, in addition to rambling on incoherently with words he doesn't know the meaning of to sound smart, right? So he's pretentious too, but he's not pretentious in a... Some people are pretentious. You can tell that they're pretentious, but they've kind of earned it. Like you might... Not that you should ever be pretentious, but some people you'd be like, okay, I can give this person a pass. They cured cancer. Or something like that, right? This guy hasn't done anything. Right? What is this? What's this guy's claim to fame to be pretentious? Lying about a bill? Doing lobster science? Fake lobster science? That's also pseudoscience, because if you read in his 12 Rules for Life and you actually check the bibliography, you'll see that the study he cites says the opposite of what he says. Needless to say, this guy has irked me for quite some time. The other example would be from Marx, to return back, and then I'm going to wrap this video up. But I need to vent about Jordan Peterson, right? Because certainly there are other people out there who have been subjected to this grifter and have had to talk to other people who have been taken in by him to get them out. And so hopefully this little vent, in addition to being a book recommendation, can also be a conduit for you to be like, oh, thank God, there's somebody else who, looks like this, right? Looks like somebody who should be a Jordan Peterson fan but isn't. he misunderstands Marx. He talks about exploitation in terms of an employer being mean to an employee. That has nothing to do with Marx's notion of exploitation. When Marx talks about exploitation, it's a purely mathematical thing. Do you produce more value than you take home at the end of the day? If the answer is yes, you are exploited. If not, you are not exploited. So if I go to work 8 hours a day, and let's just say, and I produce 20 units of value, at the end of the day, what I take home, or whenever I'm paid, let's just say I'm paid daily, is 10 units of value, let's just say. But I produce 20, and my employer keeps the 20, which we call profits. I have been exploited. That is what Marx means. Now, you don't have to like Marx. You don't have to agree with him. You don't even have to know about him. But my God, if you're going to talk about him, at least get basic concepts correctly. I don't think that's too much to ask. Get basic, fundamental concepts correctly, or you embarrass yourself. And again, this is a thing where he's been corrected on. People have corrected Jordan Peterson on Marx. And he continues, which is just more evidence that he's a grifter. Okay, but now we can make fun of him. Even now we can relish because he's washed. He's at the Daily Wire. A perfect place for Jordan Peterson to go there and to just die. Because that's also full of grifters. Because everybody there is a grifter. Ben Shapiro's a grifter, self-evidently a grifter. Matt Walsh is also self-evidently a grifter. Andrew Klavan, I don't know, for some reason I don't know why he's there. Because he's old? I don't know why he's there. And then who's the other guy's a grifter. Perfect place for him, right? And that's why he quit the University of Toronto. Not because he cares about about the woes of his white male graduate students. No. It's because the Daily Wire offered you substantially more money, Jordan Peterson, than the University of Toronto. All right. Now, I have been known to go on at length and to beat dead horses. I will try not to beat this dead horse too much and bring up Jordan Peterson again. But I just figured I would vent a little bit about him. Let's cycle back and talk a little bit more about Ursula K. Le Guin and her phenomenal novel, The Left Hand of Darkness, unlike Jordan Peterson's garbage work. Okay. There's a few criticisms, or at least points of interest, which is, given the society, and these are not original observations that I've made, but given how she sets up the world, we have biological essentialism, right? That gender and biology are the same. So that's something to keep an eye out for. I don't know if that's necessarily a criticism. It's just that's how that world works. That's how those people are. Now, obviously, to modern sensibilities, we peel apart, right? We can peel apart gender and sex. But that's something to, just keep in mind. Another thing that is conspicuously absent, which you would think would be very important because I didn't mention this, but the citizens of this planet are only fertile and can only breed, I believe it's 1 month out of the year, when they go into what's called Kemmer. I believe that's what it's called, Kemmer. But there's no mention, no talk about child rearing, right? This is a very important ritual that, this is very important. This is the only time that people are sexually active. And it's for the express purposes of reproduction. How are new people, given that we've got this gender fluidity, which would seem to imply that we have relaxed gender norms, or maybe no norms really at all, how are children raised? That would be interesting to explore. That she doesn't explore in The Left Hand of Darkness, but I'm led to believe she explores elsewhere, if my memory serves. And I thought there was one other thing I wanted to talk about before I stopped going on at length, but I can't remember it. So I am going to end it here, and I'm going to say, if you made it to the end, thank you for indulging in my Jordan Peterson rant. And I hope you give The Left Hand of Darkness a try. I don't give star ratings because they seem reductive to me. I don't like them. I've never liked them. I'm just going to say this. If you like classic sci-fi and you like the flavor of classic sci-fi that likes to set up a thought experiment and then unpack that and unpack it and explore, The Left Hand of Darkness is for you. Now, if you want just a space opera, if that's your bag, this is probably not going to work for you. All right, that's what I got. Thank you so much for listening and probably watching, and I will see you in the next one.